Look, we've all been there. It's payday and you're excited to see that hard-earned cash hit your account. Then, BAM! The government steps in and takes a hefty chunk. It's enough to make anyone wonder, where did this whole income tax thing come from anyway? Turns out it's a tale as old as time, or at least as old as governments needing money. And believe me, they always need money. Throughout history, people have protested unfair taxes, and it's no surprise. After all, nobody enjoys seeing their hard-earned money disappear into the government's coffers. But before we get into all that, let's rewind a bit. In ancient civilizations, taxation was a much simpler affair. Instead of taxing income, rulers focused on taxing goods and services. Think of it like a really old version of sales tax. In Egypt, farmers paid a portion of their grain harvest to the pharaoh. The Romans levied taxes on trade, charging merchants fees for importing and exporting goods. These taxes were generally seen as fair. You paid based on what you consumed or traded, not on your ability to earn. This system worked for centuries, people understood it, and while they might not have enjoyed paying taxes, they accepted them as a part of life. However, as societies grew more complex and trade routes expanded, governments started eyeing a new source of revenue: your income. Fast forward to the 18th and 19th centuries. Europe was embroiled in wars, and wars are expensive, my friends. Governments needed cash, and they needed it fast. Enter the income tax, a temporary measure, they promised, just to fund the war effort. Britain introduced its first income tax in 1799 to finance the Napoleonic Wars. Across the pond, the United States followed suit in 1861 to pay for the Civil War. Both countries assured their citizens that these taxes were temporary, a necessary evil to be abolished once peace was restored. Spoiler alert, they weren't. After each war, the income tax lingered, becoming a convenient way to fund growing governments and expanding social programs. Section 4. The 20th Century Squeeze. The grip tightens. The 20th century saw the income tax really take hold. In the United States, the 16th Amendment, ratified in 1913, gave Congress the power to levy a federal income tax. This paved the way for the complex and often confusing tax system we know and, well, know. World War I, the Great Depression, and World War II all led to increased tax rates, with top earners facing marginal rates as high as 90%. In the U.S. governments argued that these high taxes were necessary to fund the war effort, provide social services, and redistribute wealth. However, they also sparked fierce debate and even outright opposition from those who saw income tax as an infringement on individual liberty. Section 5. Tax resistance, a matter of principle. Opposition to income tax has come from various quarters. Some view it as a form of theft, arguing that individuals have an inherent right to their earnings. Others see it as a violation of property rights, likening it to the government claiming ownership of a portion of one's labor. Religious objections have also been raised. Some groups believe that paying taxes to a secular government undermines their religious freedom, or supports activities they find morally objectionable. Throughout history, individuals and groups have protested, resisted, and even evaded income taxes, citing moral, philosophical, and religious grounds. Section 6. Dodging the taxman, modern maneuvers. Today, the debate over income tax continues. While most people accept it as a necessary part of modern life, there are still those who seek ways to minimize their tax burden, often through legal means like deductions, credits, and tax-advantaged savings plans. The rise of globalization and digital currencies has added another layer of complexity to the issue, making it easier for some individuals and corporations to shift profits to low-tax jurisdictions. This has led to calls for greater international cooperation on tax enforcement and a rethinking of how we tax multinational companies in the 21st century. Section 7. Taxation today, a necessary evil or a modern burden. So, where does that leave us? Income tax, for better or worse, is deeply ingrained in modern society. It funds essential services like education, healthcare, and infrastructure. But it also raises questions about fairness, individual liberty, and the role of government in our lives. As you stare at your next paycheck, consider this: is income tax a necessary evil, a price we pay for a functioning society, or is it an unfair burden that stifles individual freedom and economic growth? The answer, like most things in life, is rarely black and white, but it's a question worth pondering, debating, and perhaps even getting mildly outraged about. After all, it's your money we're talking about. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some tax forms to glare at.